All set. Go ahead, Charlie.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Braintree Town Council Committee on the Department of Public Works meeting for Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. We have the roll call, please.
Counselor Ryan,
Here.
Counselor Mackin,
Here.
Counselor Flaherty,
Here.
all present.
Okay, do we have a motion for approving the April 14th minutes?
I make a motion to approve minutes of April 14th, 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Counselor Ryan,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin,
Aye.
Counselor Flaherty,
Yes.
all in favor.
Thank you. We have no old business before us tonight. We have new business, 20051 National Grid petition, Argyle Road, or take up any action related thereto. We have one, I see James Arsenault's here for the DPW. Maybe he can give us recommendation.
Yes, Counselor, and I just wanted to let you know that John Thompson is here. He's the new is Assistant Director / Town Engineer. So he's going to probably be assisting in the future with some of these meetings. So
Welcome, John.
Thank you very much. Nice to see everybody.
Nice to see you too. Thank you. So what, do we have any issues with Argyle Road?
no, Argyle Road and actually River Street, we actually want to get that moving because we're going to be doing some projects on that road. We just want to get that done. And Argyle Road, we're good with that one too. John, do you want to add anything to that, John?
I'll just say that both of these petitions are for replacing the gas mains on streets where we're planning to replace water mains. So National Grid is actually doing this work at our request to assist in coordinating the projects.
Okay, so these streets are not under moratorium at all?
No. No.
Okay. And we're doing the water main work. Are we doing any other infrastructure work on these streets? Is we doing any sewer line work or drainage?
No drainage or sewer work is planned. So once the gas mains are replaced and the water mains are replaced, we do also have in the water contract to reclaim and repave the roadways in question.
And we
Okay.
typically do sidewalk work too. If it's just a parking pad or something, we'll put that back into as well. So
Okay. And did we inspect the sewer lines on these roads, or are they in good condition?
I'm not sure about that. I know that we do check our sewer lines throughout town through our I&I process on a regular basis. I'm not sure about these two particular roads, if they actually had an investigation done on them recently. But we do run through the whole community and do inspections on a regular basis. So
Maybe if somebody could look into that and see the last time that the sewer lines were internally inspected, TV inspected, and what the rating on the condition of the sewer lines was, and just make sure we're all set for that would be good.
yeah, Councilor Ryan, I agree with you. I think that we need to do more of that in the future because we have a couple instances where we did the road and then there was an issue. So it probably would be a good idea to make sure that gets done. It's mostly the laterals tend to be the problems. The mains aren't as much, but it's kind of hard to get the laterals, as you know, but the mains, we can at least make sure those are good. So I know usually Bob always did that in the past to make sure that they were okay, but we'll double check to make sure it's good.
Right. And when you do TV inspections of the sewer lines, you're not inspecting laterals, right? Just
No, we
inspecting
don't.
sewer line?
No.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we have this petition and as well as the next petition where we have the street's not under moratorium, and for Argyle, the Belt has no conflicts with that. So I'd like to do one at a time. So are there any questions, or can we have a motion for this?
Charlie, I'd just like to ask, what is the plan for letting residents know what's going to happen? Usually in.
Oh.
You're muted, Julia. Something happened. Julia, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself. You're still muted. Something's going on.
Oh, it doesn't say I'm muted.
Now
That's
you're
okay.
now you're fine. Now you're fine.
I'm good now?
You are.
You're good.
Okay.
So start from the top.
Okay, I'll start from the top. So in my location on Pond Street, they're doing some work. They're finishing the road. And a lot of residents reached out to me because they thought they were repaving the road after they just paved it in 2018. And all I did was ask and found out that paving happens in two phases. And then I told the ones who asked me that, and then they understood and they felt better. So I guess my question is, I'm guessing you have a plan to notify residents that this is going to happen on their road. But since there's repaving in place, do you have a plan to notify residents for the second phase that will happen in a year after the frost has had a chance to do its work?
Yeah, typically when it has to do with the gas company, is from that side of it, we always make sure and reiterate numerous times that they have to notify the not only well in advance, but also just prior to. And so that's been relayed to Ben and the highway staff to make sure that gets, they're well aware of that. And if they don't comply with that, we will have a problem with it. As far as the phases, that particular project, what it was is what's called a cold in place resurfacing on Pond Street. So what they do is they take the material link, then they bind it with the material under the base material, so under the asphalt, and it gives it strength and integrity because the road was in really bad shape. We would have had to do a complete reconstruction. So we did the cold in place to give it structural strength, and then we wanted to leave it over the winter, so we put a micro on it and then left it over the winter. And then in the next year, we did a majority of the sidewalks, not all of them. There was a little bit left, as you've noted, but we got most of them done. And then funding situations and just the scheduling, we weren't able to complete it by that year. So then this year we're finishing up the sidewalk. We already redid the resurfacing and we're doing the sidewalk. So it depends on the project and the type of improvement, but we can definitely make sure that people are given more notice about what's going on for sure.
So you don't know whether this paving project would be 2 phases or 1? Is that what you're saying?
No, the regular typical water replacement project is you do it the first year and then it goes into the next year. But like right now, we're starting so late because of COVID-19. We're probably not going to get all of the sewer water work done this year. We'll get a chunk of it, and then the rest will be done in the spring. So there'll be some overlap, and that happens some years where instead of being work in the summer and the fall, and then in next year we do the resurfacing and the sidewalk. Sometimes there's an overlap, and that's happened a couple of times since I've been here working for the town, where there's been times when we had projects that were delayed for whatever reason, and then part of the work was done in the fall and then the rest in the spring. So there are times when it overlaps, but we could definitely communicate better to the residents what's going on. So we'll try to improve that for sure.
I think they would appreciate that. People were concerned that we were wasting tax dollars repaving a road that was already paved. And that wasn't the case. All we had to do was tell them.
It was actually the opposite. We were trying to save money on, because a complete reconstruction costs a lot of money. You have to tear all the asphalt, remove it, take everything out. Then you got to put good back base material in, compact it, put a top asphalt base course, then a top course. It's probably about 2 to 3 times as much but with the cold in place, it helps basically reutilize that asphalt to give it a strong structural base, and then put down I mean, it doesn't work in every case, but in this particular case, this stretch, it worked. You have to have a long run. You can't have a small area. There's different situations, different types of mitigation works, and some doesn't. So, but yeah, we'll definitely try to be better communicate next time. So
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. And I'm glad that you made an effort to save taxpayer money, because that's always good. It's just that I think people underestimate the complexity of paving. And they figure since they drive on roads, then they understand it. And then when they see it happening in ways that they don't understand, they think the people doing the paving are the idiots. So you can avoid that problem if you just communicate with them. And I think we can do a much better job of that.
sure, I agree. We'll definitely try to improve that for sure. We'll work on it.
Okay, well, that is all I have.
Okay, so Jim, maybe for this project, we can let the residents know that, what's the schedule for the National Grid work, what's the schedule for the water work?
Yep.
Might lag into next year and give it to them all at once so they
Okay.
understand what the situation is. That would be great.
All right,
Okay.
we'll do that.
Thank you very much. So if we're ready to have a motion, I'm gonna ask that young guy with the sharp looking haircut, if he's ready to make a motion.
Make a motion order 20051 National Grid petition, Argyle Road, to take up any action relative thereto. I make a motion to install and maintain approximately 735 feet of 2-inch gas main at 3 separate locations between Audubon Ave and Gordon Road. Total main installation 735 feet with staff recommendations.
Okay.
Are we reading all the
Why-
recommendations?
Read the staff recommendations, please, Larry.
All right, from Beld. There are no underground electric utility conflicts or special requirements within the proposed scope of work. From DPW. This section of Argyle Road is not under moratorium. The street has not been resurfaced in several years. Argyle Road is scheduled to have new water main installed, and we would recommend that the petition for this section be granted as soon as possible so that both the water main and gas main projects can be coordinated and completed in a timely manner. The petition should be granted under the normal conditions, with emphasis on the requirements that the gas main be laid outside of the new water main trenches and that the trench pavement not be left low for any length of time. We also recommend that the following requirement be added to the permit if it is to be granted. Neither National Grid nor any of its contractors is authorized to close any street or to close the direction of travel to facilitate their work without authorization from the Director of the Department of Public Works or the Highway Superintendent. The Chief of Police can also authorize a closure for a police or fire emergency. Construction zone traffic safety issues are to be addressed by using appropriate traffic control signs and devices and the use of police officers for traffic control to safely guide traffic through the work zone. If a closure is authorized by DPW, it shall not be implemented until the signs and police officers, where needed, are properly in place in conformity with the written plan prepared by the contractor's engineer and approved by the DPW and the police department.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. So with the motion and second, I see that Mary Mulrooney is on the call from National Grid. Mary, do you understand?
Yes.
Oh, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Why don't you have your camera on, Mary? You're hiding. Do you have curlers in your hair or something? Why
No,
don't-
no. I just didn't get the COVID-15. I got the COVID-50, so it's not pretty.
You have COVID?
No, the pounds.
Oh,
Freshman 15.
oh boy. Oh boy. So are you and National Grid okay with this motion we're about to vote on, that we want this work done quickly?
Yes, absolutely. You said you wanted one prior to the other, if I'm not mistaken. I think James said that.
Jim, which
Which one
of
did you
these
want?
two permits do you want first, Jim?
I think, wasn't it, John, wasn't it River Street that you guys needed the most?
I would say that's probably correct, just because in that
Okay.
instance, the gas main's in a direct conflict with our work here.
Okay, so we think it's River Street, Mary, but these guys will follow up tomorrow with you on that issue, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, can you have the roll call, please, Sue?
Counselor Ryan,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin,
Aye.
Counselor Flaherty.
Yes.
That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. So the next item is 20052 National Grid petition, River Street, Railroad Street, and Hooker Street, take up any action related thereto. It's 885 feet of 2-inch gas main. And we can see from DPW's recommendations, the streets aren't under moratorium. You want to do the gas water mains ASAP. So it's the same type of situation. For Bell, they have 115,000 volt oil-filled transmission line located on River Street. Bell should be notified in advance prior to any excavation near this line, and they will have on-site support and safety personnel at no cost to the project. So that's part of this as well. And I guess, Jim, I'll just beat Julia to the punch. Would like you to appropriately communicate this to the residents as well, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Understood.
Larry, I think on this motion, if you get down to like the end of the first sentence on the DPW, and then just say, and with the same standard language, you don't gotta read all that other stuff, okay?
Works for me, thanks.
Okay, Larry, Counselor Mackin, the motion, please.
Motion 20052, National Grid petition, River Street, Railroad Street, and Hooker Street, or take up any relative action thereto. Make a motion to install and maintain approximately 885 feet of 2-inch gas main in River Street, Railroad Street, and Hooker Street from Washington Street to the end of the main road. Total main installation, 885 feet with staff recommendations. Beld, please note, Beld has a 115,000 volt oil fill transmission line located on River Street to Washington Street. Beld Engineering should be notified in advance of any excavation to be performed near this line. Beld will provide on-site support and safety personnel at no cost to the project. Please see attached drawing of the locations of services. DPW. These sections of River Street, Railroad Street, and Hooker Street are not under the moratorium. Other conditions the same as the previous motion.
Thank you. With the same staff recommendations as previous. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Mary, are you all set with this one as well?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Did he say Bell, B-E-L-L Engineering, that there's a transmission line out there? Is that the name of the company?
Yes, Beld is Braintree Electric Light Department. They
Okay.
are another entity that has infrastructure within the roadways of Braintree, and most notably these power lines, buried power lines. And they, before you go out and start the dig, if you call Bell, they'll have somebody come out, and they're their own dig safe.
Okay.
And they will come out and mark out the transmission line and make sure it's done safely and you don't dig up the line. And they'll stay on site as needed.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
You have that contact information, or do your folks have that? I would imagine you do.
I'll send
Oh,
it to
yes,
Mary.
they do, but I just want to include it in my notes back.
Okay, Sue can give you that information offline if you need it, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Ryan,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin.
Aye.
Counselor Flaherty.
Yes.
That's 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you. So, we have, Mary, I don't think you really need to come to the town council meeting tonight. This stuff is pretty straightforward. You're working with the DPW department. They want to get these water mains done. I think there's no streets are under moratorium. I think it's pretty straightforward, and you don't need to come to the council meeting tonight if that's what you would want to do. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, thank you very much. If you don't think it's necessary, and if you have any questions, Sue can reach out to me and I can follow up with her.
Yeah, I think when we have some of the, which we hope we don't have, our issues where National Grid wants to dig up our streets that are under moratorium, then that's when we have problems, and we don't want that to happen. And we have our 5-year capital improvements program for water and sewer, where they give National Grid a 5-year plan on what infrastructure and what streets we are going to be doing over. And if you have any infrastructure on those streets, we would wait, if that needed work, we would wait to do our work until your work was done. So that's what we like to see done. And we've had some success in the past with National Grid on this matter. But frankly, we have had some problems too, Mary. So that's something that we really would like you and National Grid to focus on when we give you our program and our 5-year plan, taking a good look at it and looking at what areas you need to do work. And we'll hold off doing our work, but the last thing we want to do is do a street over, have you say you're all set, and then 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years later come in and say, no, we need to get in there and do some work. So that's the type of utility coordination we're looking for between the Braintree, DPW, and National Grid.
That sounds good. I'm sure that you provided your plan going forward already, have you?
Jim?
Yeah, annually, we usually send you your company something, Mary, telling you what the coming projects are. So we give you the long term, and then we also give you the near term. So the long term may adjust a little bit. A street or two may change, but the near term is pretty solid. But we do always give you an idea of what's coming up in multiple years ahead.
And has that been sent out this year already?
I'm not sure it should be. I'll talk to John, the other John Morse, because he has a whole history of it. So I can see when it was last sent and make sure that it's current. So
Yeah, just to make sure, because sometimes, National Grid managers and directors change positions, so the contact may have changed. So I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
Yep. Mary, how long have you been Braintree's contact now?
Just probably a year. That's it. Yeah,
yeah, we can, Mary, we can send you something as well if you'd like.
sure, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that is all the business I believe we have before us tonight for the DPW meeting. And if everyone's all set, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Ryan,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin,
Aye.
Counselor Flaherty,
Aye.
all in favor.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for taking part in this meeting.
Thank you
Easy
for your
one.
time.
All right,
Thank
see
you,
some of you in a little while at the council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.